We are shipping skills for all our SDKs, for all our features. We just completely reworked them over the weekend. Yeah, my name is Michi. I live in Vienna, Austria, and I work at Sentry as a staff software engineer on our SDK team.
Sentry, for those that are not familiar, y'all do quite a lot of things. You're most known for like error tracking, log management, I think. But that's that just scratches the surface, right? Like y'all have all kinds of integrations now, right?
Yeah, totally. So I think now best described as like just application monitoring. So we try to give a developer as much context as possible to solve all their problems. And a problem could be a bug, a crash, right? But it could also be something is getting slow, right? And over the years, as you mentioned, like initially we are very well known for errors, but over the years we added much more products, like from tracing, like measuring how long a database call takes. We just shipped logs recently. We have a metrics beta going. We added profiling, session replay. So yeah, just a plethora of different tools to, yeah, again, help a developer to fix their software they ship to production.
Stack. Well, so next, that sort of has me thinking, you know, as AI is taking over, as we all know, how are y'all adapting the UI or the app itself to better integrate with AIs and things like that to basically make our developer life easier?
Yeah, I think one of the first things we did was to add like a new button to the issue page where you could say like copy as markdown, something then you could just paste into your favorite agent. We really early shipped an MCP server, and if I dare to say, it's actually also a pretty good one. Yeah, and then of course we made our docs AI ready, right? Like if an agent fetches our docs, it most of the time sends an accept header like text markdown.
Oh, yeah.
And instead of sending them HTML, which is like meant for humans, right? We return like a stripped down plain markdown version without like the nav and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are shipping skills for all our SDKs, for all our features. We just completely reworked them over the weekend.
Just integrated even on the Laravel news site. We've started doing everything, you know, in Markdown for the AI agents, because I figure, I mean, for y'all were like a useful product where we're just news, but I still figure it's going to help in the end at some point. Like surely the agents are going to pull this easier. But then I kind of got also my question that I was going to ask you. Oh, I was going to ask you about the Laravel integration. So, you know, I know Sentry has a Laravel integrated package and everything. So I'm just like talk us through that. How long's that been out? You know, how easy is it to get started with Sentry?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know exactly, but it's definitely more than 5. Yeah, definitely more than 5 by now. Yeah, to get started with Sentry in a Laravel project, it's pretty easy. You install our SDK with Composer. Inside your app bootstrap file, you add like one line to capture unhandled exceptions. And that's pretty much it. Like everything else, we are like able to configure at runtime based on some config flags. Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. Again, Laravel itself, the framework, makes it really easy for us to hook into like all things happening to produce the telemetry that makes Sentry good. So yeah, it's a blast working on that for sure.
That's awesome. So how do you see? I mean, y'all have so many features now. Like, you know, over the next year, 5 years, how is error logging, error monitoring, everything else going to change? In your opinion, just hypothetically, you know, just from what you're looking at, or is there going to be a lot of change coming, or is it kind of, you think it's just going to be something we're always just going to need and use, and it's never going away?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. I mean, one feature we are currently building, it's so basically every AI features in Sentry are under a brand called Seer, like that's our AI umbrella, and like one of the features, there's what we call root cause analysis. So an error comes in, and with all the context we have collected in the SDK, like the stack trace and so on, we let an AI figure out what the problem is, like in a sentence, basically. And I think these kind of integrations, they are not only helpful for humans, but also for different agent. Let's say you're running in an endless loop where a Sentry error comes in and then it's just getting fixed. We of course also have a product for that opens up your on GitHub fixing your errors. But yeah, I think in general, the need for good production monitoring, I don't think this will go away. Especially, I mean, sure, if you have like a small hobby project that runs on one server, yeah, you can tail your logs. But if you have a Kubernetes deployment with 5,000 pods, you always will need some sort of centralized solution where all your telemetry is piped together. Yeah, so I think the future hopefully looks bright for that.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, yeah, the tail works on, you know, like one server basic setup, but like you said, once you get to a certain level, like you've got to have a system in place, and that's what's so good about Sentry. The other cool thing is with all the AI integration, like, you know, copy the error and just tell Claude to go fix your error or whatever AI you're using. I love all that part of it. You know, that's cool because you've got the whole stack trace there just so the AIs can follow along and know where to change stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, another thing we are also, of course, looking into now is how do we support people that build AI? Like, they build an own MCP server, they build an own agent. So again, we already shipped like a monitoring product for agents, so you can see like token consumption and how your conversations are flowing. And of course, now Laravel shipped an amazing AI package. It's a joy to use. I'm really excited. And of course, we will soon also integrate this into Sentry, so that when you build your own agents and you want to monitor them, we got you covered. Yeah.
I love that. So at Sentry, we sort of mentioned this as you came up. You got a syntax shirt. If any Laravel developer is not familiar with syntax, why don't we give them a shout out and tell the world what syntax is?
Yeah, sure. Hi Wes and hi Scott. In case you're watching, yeah, I think syntax is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, podcast for front-end developers, right? So everything JavaScript. And again, also like 2-3 years ago, we acquired them.
Yeah.
And instead of changing anything, we didn't change anything, right? We removed the sponsors. So syntax is now exclusively brought to you by Sentry. But besides that, they are still operating mostly on their own. Of course, now we can do much bigger things. Yeah, it's great. Like subscribe in your favorite podcast app, or there's also like a video podcast now you can watch on YouTube.
Yeah, and I was going to say, one of the cool things I've seen Wes Boss tweeting about is they're doing like I'm not sure I'm going to get it 100% right, but like a CSS bracket challenge to coincide with the NCAA March Madness. I think. Do you know any details on this, on how this works? I know there's something about a code or something. Maybe we'll skip that conversation then, because I'm not. I've only seen the tweets and I haven't actually dug in to read about it. But I was like, that sounds pretty cool. But yeah, syntax has been out forever. Sentry the same way. Y'all have been out for 10 years now, maybe.
Yeah, the company a bit more. Yeah, and I think the project started like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an open source project, right? Like the history of Sentry was a Django admin plugin. So Django admin is a little bit like the Laravel toolbar, and it was just a database table where exceptions were written into it. That's how Sentry started. You can look up the commit on GitHub. It's of course there still. We've come a long way. It's pretty exciting.
I love that. All right, so we're gonna close our interview out. That way we have time for everybody on the lunch break. But I'm gonna give the mic over to you and let you do any closing thoughts, anything we missed, and tell people how to find you, how to find Sentry, and all of the above.
Yeah, we do have a Discord, which is quite cool because you can talk with the engineers that build Sentry. So discord.gg/Sentry. In general, if you're a Sentry customer and you run into any problems, please feel free to open GitHub issues, yell at us on Twitter. We love feedback. That's the only way how we can make the product better. So the more, the better. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come and do this. Yeah, skipping your lunch break and coming to talk to us. So, yeah, thank you. And everybody watching, go check out Sentry and all of the above and Syntax.
Thank you.
So, appreciate it.